What up? What up? What up, basketball fans? What up, everybody? Um, I want to talk about three individual players that seem to stand out the most. Three guys that brought the NBA to unprecedented heights. Three guys that made you sit in front of the TV and watch it. Three guys that made you go out and buy their jerseys, buy their shoes, had great influence on you, made you feel like you were a part of their family even though you never met them before. Some guys always wanted to be in the NBA, so they lived through their favorite NBA player. That's why they get emotional. And, they have a huge attachment to that player. Um, as a man, you get older, you have to learn how to separate yourself from that player and that person, because at the end of the day, they're still just a person, just like you, just like me. They're capable of making mistakes, just like you, just like me. Um, so, those three guys that I'm talking about is LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and Kobe Bryant. I think those three guys have the biggest influence on basketball. They kind of like changed the NBA in a lot, If you've been watching basketball from the 80s until now, you probably have one of those three guys in your top five, two of them, or maybe one of them. For me, the guy that stands out of all those three is Jordan. LeBron to be a second, and Kobe Bryant to be third. I do think Kobe Bryant is more skilled than LeBron James. Okay, now if you're going to compare those three, for the simple fact, Kobe Bryant's like that dude from Mortal Kombat. That could change into any guy, and he could steal the skill set. And, he could perform everybody's moves. Now, he could steal this guy's moves, steal that guy's moves. I forgot his name. Maybe you could tell me what that guy's name was in that video game. But that's what Kobe reminds me of. Now, out of those three, Kobe's the most skilled. The most complete player. The guy that got the most gifts. He's left-handed even though he could shoot with his right hand, and he could shoot threes with his right hand. It's like going to high school and you run into that guy that gets perfect scores on his test. He does everything almost seems like perfect with very little effort to it. That's LeBron James. Okay, I think LeBron James is the most complete out of those three players. Then we get to Jordan. I think Jordan, hands down, is the better player between those three, because he could dominate both ends of the floor better than both of those guys. He's a better offensive player. He's more efficient. He's better at scoring. He's a better mid-range shooter than both of those guys. He's better at attacking the basket and finishing than both of those guys. Now, and also on the defensive end, Jordan was one of the greatest defensive players of all time. From the perimeter, he would swipe away the ball from you when you try to go past him, sorry. And Jordan is the better two-way player than both of those guys. And he's the more devastating player. When I say devastating, his impact on the game hurts you more than a Kobe and LeBron. Kobe could come very inefficient sometimes. He could blow teams out the game. Then you'd be like, damn, this guy, he went hard. He gave it all he had, but we still lost the game because, maybe if he passed the ball a little more, maybe he was a better playmaker, instead of shooting the ball with two or three guys on him. Now, Jordan did take a lot of shots, but when the guy is that efficient, Jordan he led the league in scoring 10 times. And a lot of those seasons, the guy shot over 50% from the field. That's unheard of for a two guard, especially back in those days. And now you see some two guards shooting over 50%, I believe. But that's still rare even today, because a lot of the average shooting guard shoots over 45% from the field. Kobe's best season was 2003. He shot over 47% from the field. That was his highest that he ever went. That was his most efficient season. But Jordan had seasons 50 field goal percentage seasons um, more than Kobe. Kobe actually never had none. He had a lot of shot jacking seasons. LeBron James was never a go-to guy for scoring. He would tell you that himself, that he's not a scorer. He doesn't have a scorer's mentality. He's not looking to dominate and score on you. But Jordan, he also, when I said devastating, he also put the most fear in a lot of people. I remember watching Jordan play, and you like, this guy, how we gonna stop him? He had that look on his face, like he was determined to try to win. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about that mumbo jumbo fake killer instinct stuff, because a lot of that is just gimmick, But Jordan really did, went 1,000 miles per hour. He tried his best every time to win. That's more than you could say for both Kobe and LeBron, because I've seen examples of those guys so-called quitting. When you're refusing to shoot in the game, like Kobe did before, that's quitting. You can make the case LeBron quit several times, and or just wave the white flag. But again, no disrespect to those two guys, they just not on that Jordan level. I mean, there's plenty of examples to state to why I think Jordan's better than both of those guys. Has nothing to do with me liking Jordan or anything like that. There's no bias towards it. I'm just breaking the game down as simple as I can. Efficiency, dominance on the court, both ends of the floor. Jordan was that. This is a perfect example. Remember that game LeBron scored 45 points? It was against the Celtics. He had the mean face game. That attitude and that state of mind, that was Jordan pretty much his whole career in the playoffs. That's why he won 6 titles, because Bulls could have lost a lot of those titles that they won. The Jazz had them on the ropes, and Jordan just, he refused to try to let that team lose. And what I mean by refused to let that team lose is the fact that he kept coming at them, and he played a smart game. Jordan had a very high IQ of basketball. A lot of people don't realize that. He also was a better playmaker than you think he was. So, out of those 3 guys, Jordan was definitely the most devastating, the one that could hurt you the most, the one that you feared the most, and he was a better two-way player. With that being said, I do understand people saying stuff like, oh, LeBron been to the finals. He dominated his era a lot. He been to the finals countless times. That's good and all. You do get credit for that, okay? But you also have to get credit for the losing aspect to it too, It'd be a different story if he won all those championships and he had like 8 championships, and I'd be like, okay, he's better than Jordan. He did stuff Jordan couldn't do, But we don't live in a world of what ifs, If that was the case, all of us would be in different situations than what we are in now. So you can't go by that. Also, breaking those 3 guys down, I think that's the highest compliment you could possibly give to those 3 players. If I'm just putting those 3 players in the room and we're just breaking down those 3 players, because all 3 of those players I don't have. Well, 2 of them I have in my top 5. Kobe I have actually number 6. Kobe's career will always be connected to Shaq's. I'm gonna break that down in another video, because I have people from New York, people from Los Angeles that's gonna join my channel pretty soon, and we're gonna try to do something big. I won't say big, but we're gonna do something that we could all get together as a group. Multiple videos, and we could just flat out debate. I may actually try to get back in contact with Bruce Blitz and see if I could get him on here. I mean, I have a history with Bruce Blitz. Used to be on his podcast and things like that. But it's been so long since I actually talked to this guy. I have to get back in contact with him and stuff like that. But anyway, peace, basketball fans. Enjoy the game, and never let somebody tell you what not to believe in. Try to accomplish your goals every single day, and don't let nothing stand in your way. Jordan taught me things like that. In terms of, I got that from my parents and people around my neighborhood that I growed up around. Because you had to be a strong-minded person to come up in New York City. I mean, that's the concrete jungle for a reason. But when it comes to basketball, Jordan had a lot of influence on me. So I'm not going to sit there and say I don't. But I also had a lot of influence from LeBron James. Also had a lot of influence from Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, everybody. So that's what I do. Unbiased, per objective, and I approach everything with logic. So if you want, you could comment down, tell me what you think. Peace.